Some shocking moments last night at Duluth City Council as several people who called into the meeting for public input used the opportunity to spread anti-Semitic hate.
My name is Rudy Hess. My zip code is 55810.
Now that's how one of the calls began. We're not going to play the rest of it as it was filled with hate. It was followed by two other calls with people making similar comments. Now the incidents are now causing the council and Jewish community leaders to speak out and call for change. Northern News Now's Arik is hearing from them tonight.
Awful, vile, hate-filled.
Those were the words Duluth City Councilor Arik Forsman used to describe the comments made at Monday night's council meeting.
I've never seen a situation in my time on the council where somebody who was speaking during the open comment period had to be stopped.
During 3 separate online public comments, people called in under fake names. From there, making a string of anti-Semitic comments, which were cut short by Council President Janet Kennedy.
I thought our council president handled the situation very well, all things considered. This unfortunately shows the downside when somebody doesn't have to put a face to a name and can just say whatever they want hiding behind a camera.
Now the council plans to make changes to their open public comment policies, something Jewish community leaders say is necessary.
We don't want to pollute democracy with disgusting anti-Semitic racist talk.
Hunting saying comments made Monday night is a part of a growing problem nationwide.
The ADL shows we've had almost a 400% increase in anti-Semitic incidents in the United States since October 7th.
Hate, Forsman says, will not be tolerated here.
That hate is just not welcome at our city council, in our city.
In Duluth, Arik, Northern News Now.
It's still unclear what open public comments will look like at council meetings going forward. However, we're told the decision will be made sometime before their next meeting.